Hey, it's Courtney Kopek back with Cake and Kale Lifestyle. And today I am doing my second video blog on a topic that I think is extremely important, which is called body kindness. Um, Body kindness is something that sounds like it makes perfect sense and something we should all be doing, but it's actually something that I think that a lot of women have gotten away from. It's so much easier to look at yourself in the mirror and not be happy with what you see, just kind of tear yourself apart. And I also kind of feel as though as the years are going by and we're getting older, there's more things to sort of like pick apart. I mean, I'm starting to see fine lines that I'm not so happy about. And it's a little jarring, because you're struggling for so long to try to get yourself in a place where you feel good with your looks when it comes to, your body, right? Like you want to fit into a certain size, you want to weigh a certain number, you want to look a certain way, you want to feel a certain way. And I'm not saying that way is necessarily like being super, super skinny or, athletic. We all have an idea of how we want to be looking. And it is something that I think when we stand in front of the mirror and constantly pull ourselves apart, it builds like these pathways in our brain. And so it's almost as though when we get in front of the mirror, we don't even need to think about it. Like immediately thoughts of the negative stuff that we are so used to seeing in ourselves just shows up right away. We're not looking in the mirror and reflecting back a person that we spend a lot of time being really kind to very often. Usually it's someone who we just beat up over and over and over again about the same sort of stuff. You ate this the other day, or you didn't go to the gym, or it's bikini season coming up and you don't look like the girls in the pictures on the internet for the bikini modeling, or you were 10 pounds lighter last year, or, you're still struggling to get baby weight off, and maybe you've been struggling for 15, 20 years to get baby weight off. I mean, there's 1,000 things that we could talk about ourselves that we're not very happy with when it comes to how we look. So the concept behind body kindness is to kind of start practicing ways to rewire your brain to see yourself in a more positive light. And one of the things that I do with my clients when it comes to this is, when people come to me looking for weight loss, I try to direct them in a path where they're paying more attention to how they're feeling around food, their relationship with food, than I do, the typical, okay, eat this many calories, this many macros, and go to the gym this many days, and, in a month you'll weigh this amount. Because I just don't feel that really gets people in tune with what the real issues are with food. Because, I mean, I think everyone really knows what they need to be eating for the most part. Yes, it's important for all of us to have our bio-individual sort of tastes and preferences understood by ourselves, but generally speaking, a person should not be eating, like Dunkin' Donuts bagels every morning, or pizza every night. It's not, we just know that. We know we should be eating more vegetables. We know you should be, like, moving our bodies. That's not hard, knowing that. It's actually doing it. It's following through on it. And it can be so stressful sometimes when that is what is at the forefront of your mind of, I've got to get my food under control. I've got to get my exercise under control. I'm never going to lose this weight, I had a client recently who I was talking to about the fact that I thought that she needed to up her calorie intake because she just wasn't eating. And it really frightened her quite a bit. And I could tell that she was nervous about it. But as we sort of talked through it, I kind of helped her to see that when you continually treat your body in a manner that the body doesn't see as necessarily kind, it's not going to be kind back to you. It's not going to do good things for you. So yeah, you may be in a position where you're super busy all the time and you don't have time to eat breakfast, and then you don't have time to eat lunch, and then dinner is at 9 o'clock at night when your husband gets home, and you're not even really hungry anymore during the day because it's been such the pattern for so many years. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your body is enjoying that kind of treatment. And I mean, I've been in positions where I've tried to cut calories and go lower and lower and lower to try to get off weight. And it would get to a point where I'd have to cut an insane amount of calories to even lose a pound. Your body just stops like working for you properly. It does not want to let go of what it feels is its like life source, which is like extra weight on you to be continually like living the way you're supposed to be living. So I try to get clients to think more in terms of what is something that's good for you to be doing for yourself right now, for your body right now. Don't think about the weight loss. Don't think about fitting into the jeans, the dress, the swimsuit, whatever, looking good, you know, naked for your husband. I mean, I understand how those are all important parts for us to feel beautiful, but when feeling beautiful is being like you're relying on a certain condition to feel beautiful about yourself, then that's like kind of sucky, because what happens when that condition goes away? You know, I had another client talk to me about how she feels really good at this one particular size, but if she goes even 5 pounds over it, she just doesn't feel herself. And I understand that feeling of like not feeling yourself when you look in the mirror. You know, you don't feel like you felt maybe a month before, a year before, you know, 5 years before. I totally get that. But you need to be able to still love your body regardless of that. And it takes a lot of work. And I don't know if it's even ever done. I mean, I'm still working on it. But it's important. So how do you be kind to your body? How does one start with that? Well, it's very opposite from what we know with diets, because usually, you know, when you're starting out a new healthy lifestyle, you're following all these healthy people on Instagram, and everyone's so fit and perfect looking, and you're following this really rigid food plan, and you're, you know, making sure you get to the gym that you just signed up for, and you just want to get from point A to point B, and you don't really want to think about the in between. You're like a robot, you know. And then you start getting like kind of bummed out because you're not looking like maybe the people you're following on Instagram, which is a whole another story. But I'll just tell you really quickly that I've unfollowed a lot of people on my social media who just did not make me feel good about my body. I just, you know, I love lifting weights and I love seeing people really fit and in shape, but I also recognized that it was starting to make me feel lazy and starting to make me feel bad about myself. And these people weren't specifically doing anything to make me feel that way. It's all the stuff that's coming from up in here, all the crazy that we've got going on about our bodies and ourselves. It just manifests these like thoughts. But I just felt as though for me, I needed to take a break from looking at those pictures. And so I started following more like curvy girls and more, you know, well, more chefs and stuff, just because I love looking at pictures of food. But, you know, that's something to think about. That is one of the ways that you can be kind to your body, is don't allow yourself to be looking at images that make you feel that you're not, like, worthy, or that you're not doing a good enough job in your health journey, or that, you know, you're never going to look a certain way. You can't do that to yourself. Like, it's just, and there's no reason for it. So that is one of the things that I suggest. Another thing, like regarding food and cravings that we get, you know, kind of trying to decide, ask yourself, like, before you're going to sit down and eat something, is this meal being kind to my body? Now, I do want to say that I think we also kind of get confused and believe that eating a salad is being kind to our body, but having a chocolate chip cookie is not being kind to our body. And I do not agree with that, because I think that, you know, like I mentioned before, how much I love birthday cake, and it's because I just loved having birthdays growing up. I mean, whatever, you get presents, like, why would you not love that? And you get cake. But my point is that brings me some good warm feelings, eating that cake. Now, if I'm eating birthday cake, if I've got like 3 parties in a week to go to, maybe I'm only going to choose to have birthday cake at one of those parties. That's being kind to myself. Not being kind to myself would be having birthday cake at every single party and then deciding, okay, now I can't, you know, have any dessert for a month, or I'm off sugar for the next 3 weeks, or I've got to go work out at the gym for an extra 45 minutes, you know, every day for the rest of the week. That's not being kind to ourselves. That's treating the situation like, if I do A, then I'm going to have to go and do B to make up for it. And that just continues to create more of that cycle, that dieting cycle in your mind of good and bad, yes and no, worthy and not worthy. You know, so try to ask yourself before you're eating anything, is it being kind to you? And it can totally be cookies. You might ask yourself, okay, I know if I have one cookie, I'm going to definitely want to have like 3 more. So I'm not going to have any cookies at all. That gets a little tricky because sometimes you can end up binging if you allow that to end up happening. You know, maybe like a month even later, you just see a really good cookie in a window at like a coffee shop and you end up like eating 5 of them because you didn't learn how to be kind to your body with a cookie. So I suggest to clients to sit down, have your one cookie, and give yourself a 15-minute break. See if you want another cookie. And ask yourself, why do I want this other cookie? Am I looking for this cookie because it tastes good? Am I looking for it because I'm hungry? Am I looking for it because I have a sugar issue and I just, you know, once I have sugar, I can't stop, which is certainly something that, you know, happens to people. You've got to figure out your reasonings behind why. Because if you just look at it as though, I can't have any more, I can't have a cookie because I'll just end up eating all of them, you're not getting behind the issues of it. You're not digging in there and understanding why that's happening. And you're not solving any problems. You're just going to keep going through life the exact same way, which is not having a cookie for a super, super long time and then all of a sudden having a cookie and then maybe having 6 or 7 more after that and then hating yourself. So you need to be kind to your body. And part of being kind to your body is figuring out why you're making the kinds of choices you're making around your food. Another thing regarding body kindness is, you know, I do talk to some people about the scale, maybe not keeping a scale in your home. I have one, and I do get on it. I get on it probably once a month. I gain weight extremely easily, and it's, you know, I think I've just gotten to a place with the scale where I feel like I have a comfortable relationship with it. But when I was in my periods where I was weighing myself twice a day, 3 times a day, I got rid of the scale. I mean, I couldn't even take my measurements because I was measuring myself all the time. You know, so you know where you're at with that scale. So make the decision. If you feel like right now it's not what you want to be stepping on, then don't step on it. Let your clothes be your guide for, you know, how you're fitting into things. And certainly let your body be your guide for how you're feeling. I hear time and again, I've got so many clients who tell me like, well, I haven't necessarily lost any weight, but I feel really good. I'm sleeping so much better and I can finally go up like those 3 flights of stairs that I couldn't do before. Or I'm running that extra mile at the gym. Or I'm so much stronger, I'm lifting more. Those are all really wonderful, good things. You know, the measure of your health and the form that your body is in terms of, you know, your wellness, it's not on the scale, and it's not necessarily on what size your clothes are fitting you. So it's important to really start building up other strategies outside those 2 things for ways that you can feel good about yourself when you're turning over a new leaf and trying to build a healthier lifestyle. You know, one of the things is like, if you do lift weights, keeping a log of what the weights are that you're lifting and watch how much you're growing as you continue to lift heavier and heavier. If you're a runner, you know, tracking how much extra you're running. Or like I said, just somebody who's just trying to, you know, maybe pull your kid around the yard in a wagon, like how much easier has that gotten for you? How much easier is it for you to walk from one end of the mall to the other? We all have different levels that we're at in terms of our health, and you need to start tracking more than just what the scale is saying and more than just what your clothes are telling you. You need to be celebrating the smaller achievements. That's another huge part of body kindness. Don't set these like insane goals and then not have any mini goals in between. Don't say to yourself, okay, I need to lose 10 pounds by June. And then that's it. Like, I'm just going to eat this way and exercise, and I just got to lose those 10 pounds, lose those 10 pounds, lose those 10 pounds. You know, the wheel keeps spinning in your head over and over again. Make a different goal for yourself. Tell yourself, okay, what would be kind for myself? I'm going to start taking a bath once a week. Just 10 minutes. Right before I go to bed, I'm going to hop into that bathtub. Maybe I'll have some wine with my you know, bath or a cup of tea or something. But start with something small. 10 minutes in the bathtub, or maybe it's waking up an extra half an hour early to read a book that you've been wanting to read that you never have time to read. If you can get an extra half an hour of you time somewhere in the day. And for a lot of us, working and mothers, that is either early in the morning or later on at night. So you've got to find a way. 15 minutes of journaling. If you can start journaling and just writing out your thoughts and how you're feeling about yourself and what's going on in your world, I swear it is such a life changer. You don't have to be a good writer. You're not trying to write like Shakespeare here, but just some way that you can express your feelings, because I've said this before, like when you're writing things down, you're getting a much different view of your world and how things are going than when you're just thinking or when you're talking to a friend. So I always try to suggest journaling is great for body kindness. And also try to do things that don't cost a lot of money. It's really easy to say like, oh, book yourself a spa visit, or go get your hair done, or get your nails done. And those are all really important things. But I personally right now don't have a ton of money trying to start up my business and just living off my husband's income and whatever I'm making from this. And so I had to start doing my own nails at home. But that gave me an excuse to be alone for an hour, because I would just say to my husband, like, I've got to go do my nails. And I don't even like sitting in a nail salon. It takes forever and it's just obnoxious. But that's just me. But the point is that if you don't have the money to go out and get manicures, maybe you could start practicing at home and just get like a clear color or something, just where you can clean your nails up, even if you can find 15 minutes to clean your nails up. All right, I'm talking too much about nails. But same thing with hair. I mean, all right, so maybe it's too much to get your hair colored, but what about going out and buying like a $25 curling iron or something like that, or changing your conditioner up? I mean, that's certainly some way that you can be nice to yourself that doesn't cost a lot of money. Get some extra stretching in, some breathing. Try basically to find 15 extra minutes a day where you can do something just for yourself. That is really going to open your world up to centering yourself with who you are. You just get so busy every single day doing all the stuff you've got to do. It's the same thing over and over and over again. You wake up, it's the exact same day as yesterday, give or take a few tantrums here and there or whatever, like obnoxious people at work or, traffic on the road. But I mean, like, every day is basically the same, it feels like. So you've got to find ways to, like, get some time in there for you, because if you do it, if the only way you're doing it is by paying attention to following this certain eating plan, counting points or whatever it is, and hitting the gym for 45 minutes, you're not focusing on your inner self, like, enough. You're just focusing on some, like, typical tools that you just go to all the time. You've got to find some ways to get centered in here. You've got to find some ways to really, like, reach in there and spend some time with yourself. This makes a huge difference in your stress, in your sleep, how you're eating. And I know it's hard, and everyone has a tough time figuring out how to do it, figure out how to keep up with it, but it is possible. I have one client who never journaled before, and she started journaling with me, and she's been working with me now for 2 months, and she's still journaling every day, and she absolutely loves it. And she's like, I never stick with anything. I can't believe I'm still doing this. So it's important to open yourself up to some new things, because you might find something that really just, like, clicks and works with you. So this is kind of just where I'm going to sum it up right now with the body kindness, is that, for starters, find little achievements that you can be proud of yourself about. Incorporating more vegetables. I'm just going to add a little extra vegetable here and there every day. Drinking, more water. I'm just going to get one more extra glass of water in the day. Or I'm going to cut out one extra cup of coffee in the day if that's like an issue that you have. Don't set huge goals. Set something small that's pretty attainable for you. And then when you achieve that goal, set a goal off of that. That's huge. And the other thing is, find 15 minutes in your day to be able to just do something good for yourself, where it's completely self-focused. That is also really important. And then, the other thing is, when you're eating, ask yourself, is what I'm putting in my mouth being kind to me? Is having this serving being kind to me? Is this helping me? Is this nourishing me? Is this loving me? you know, and you might find some scary feelings come up with all of that. It's totally okay. Don't worry about it. Just let them come. You know, we're not in our society really geared very much towards learning how to appreciate and love ourselves and put ourselves first. But it's so, so, so important to your overall health and wellness and your stress, and just taking care of you is it's got to be number one. So thank you very much for listening to this blog today. Again, it's Courtney Kopech with Cake and Kale Lifestyle. Have a great day.